video log because I know that I got somebody out of trouble at some point with this video. There was a good dad with a red backpack, which at some point was a special ops, extra special person's whatever. And he had good intentions because he worked and got picked up by the right other dad department, and they were working special ops together. I think that we had some quantum length between the two of them to, if I had two hands right now, I would show you, to take one and say, okay, this protects my dad over here with the red backpack zipper open. This protects my dad over here with the zipper closed. And should anybody question the two dads about the one backpack, they just can cover each other and that's it. Yeah? Good. So that was for one. It's always a per se system. So it's a one exception, and it can be verified to protect the people that actually work for a living and not the ones that hide in excuses. But it also opens a dangerous door for, like, why can't I have that? I don't know. I haven't come up with a good excuse why you shouldn't protect one another, but then again, I don't know why so many people wait so many years coming up with new excuses. Yeah, like, why does the people at ministry that knew up ahead all the things in the possibility, why can't they be, I knew it, I'm trying to defend it, and I need to keep checking to make sure I'm headed with my group in the right direction, and there's not new sprouts in other groups. I mean, that never, in telemetry, why on earth can we not fix the system? I mean, it is one woman is one man. What is all the time wasting? Time is not friendly to me and him. It just creates more friction with the living, and then with who's kid got run over by accident because someone didn't check, and then I'm telling on you, I'm locking you here. I mean, it is like, why would you expose he and I, forget the humans, why would you expose us to all of this nonsense that never had to happen? Then I have another person who took the backpack and was trucking forward and then putting in the backpack and zippering the backpack every single step of the way to make sure they had one direct line of sight. Yeah? Well, A, who gave you the backpack? And two, is I know your footprints, your oily signature like a slug going in a direction into a life I may lead or I may not lead, depending on how the painted equipment works my day in, based on how many new errors, ERROS, you put between he and I for wasting so much more fucking time for your uselessness. This equipment does not need to be studied. We are time and space. Do you understand? There's only so many numbers. He and I, we are the wir, we are the drei. So we are the 3 and the 4. We come on the 8. The 8 is indicative of forever. We are the seam that we split because we're in two different biosignatures, but very similar. Just a very slight difference between he and I, which we need to replicate via genetics, via having children. But when we come, we are the split of all of infinity and affinity that runs all life here and elsewhere. So what happens is, in not such infantile living, but in other super symmetry and mathematics elsewhere that respects the whole system and knows he and I are the owner. You see, for he and I, it doesn't, like, ownership, it's like, yeah, I know, I'm the number one, big deal. You just know it. You don't need to show off. It's not like a big thing. In fact, it's more of like a headache when you find out, because then you're curious, which again, it opens us for more danger. It just makes us more susceptible to you curious humans at this point. Who wants to know how atoms split so they can build more big bombs, but then they need commissions because they're afraid that other people are now going to set them off? Then why did you build them, you idiot? I mean, you and science, it's like, we'll give you chemistry to brush your teeth. How about that? I mean, that's about as far as you belong in science. You are scary when you learn things. Seriously. I mean, but anyway, so in supernumetrics, it's the same numbers, and we split into genetic beings. We're always tuned because we're the same, and we work off of the EMP pulse because we're the beginning and the ending, and they pulse together. So whether he is in my physical space or away from my physical space, there is still the magnetic pulse of the SUpeR sonar that I need and I want and I crave, because it is like no other signature on the face of the earth. And nothing feels right. Everything feels off and wrong because I feel the pulse every time my pulse goes, but I can't see and touch him to complete the circuit. So what I don't understand is it's such a unique situation. Why on earth are you living if you don't get this to put the two of us together? We're living human beings. This is our system. Your system doesn't even work off of that. You have some kind of pulse. I don't know how your pulse works. Ask your parents. I will tell you, your parents didn't have supersymmetrical equipment with other pulses that go off of your sector and vector. Because if you didn't know that we existed, you wouldn't even have the job or the ability to work whatever function you work to try to keep us safe. And yourself safe and your family safe. So I'm a little confused where leadership and hierarchy, where anyone thinks they can tell him anything about this. There is no safety and security until the pulse and the magnetic that belong together are together, because otherwise the entire system here and elsewhere finds all of you in the nest repulsive. You are repulsive because you're repulsing the supermagnetic children that belong together in all of space and time, have been held apart for 41 years of life. When they are cradle to grave, they're supposed to be together because they work off of one another, and their pulse then keeps the rest healthy in the nest, and it keeps the whole system working and functioning properly without memories being ripped out, and without electric fence like razoring your skin for no reason. I mean, these are the things that humans introduce into his and my system, which is why security is so important. But other humans don't get, well, how do you know? If you have to ask how I know, crew cut. We don't need you. Go and be quiet in some yachty somewhere where you can't hurt us. Out on the water, like far. Do you understand? I don't need you walking around and talking about it, getting others curious in it. I need to fix the management problem of the biosignature to get he and I together, because the malware is the humans They keep he and I apart.